कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिनि। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for this Ratnamala session. Today we will learn a shloka from the first canto of Bhagavatam. This shloka was spoken by Bhishma to all the Pandavas. Pandavas underwent a lot of difficulties in their lives. And Bhishma is empathizing and sympathizing with their difficulties, and he is trying to console them, giving them some kind of a solace. Like, what are the difficulties that Pandavas underwent in their life? Anyone can say? Yes, Hari?
Is the Lakshagriha, like the fire in the lake house?
Yes. Yes, correct. Karthik?
प्रभुजी विशाल महाग्ने पुरुषाद दर्शनाद सत्सभाया वनवास पृच्छता विदेनेक महारतास्त्रतो द्रोण्यस्त्रतश्च स्म हरे विरक्षिता.
Okay, thank you for your Sanskrit answer. Okay, so in this way, the Pandavas underwent so many difficulties, and finally, in this Kurukshetra war, Pandavas regained their kingdom. They became the kings. But Yudhishthira Maharaj became very overwhelmed with guilt. Just to enthrone me as the king of Hastinapur, hundreds and thousands of people had to die on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. What would have happened to their families, their wives, their children, their parents, and other members of their family? They all lost their beloved family member in their Kurukshetra war. All this happened, so much of killing in the Kurukshetra war happened just to enthrone me as the king of Hastinapur. So Yudhishthira Maharaj became so overwhelmed with guilt. He was feeling so bad. Okay. So when Yudhishthira was like this, Dhaumya came to console him. Vyasadeva also tried to pacify him. Even Krishna attempted to console him. But although all the great personalities are giving so many reasons that, oh, whatever has happened by the will of the Lord, and also the Lord wanted this to happen. So we are just instruments. No sin will affect you, and you have done this dharmic war. You fought against Duryodhana and party only to establish dharma. So there is nothing wrong in punishing a sinful person. So like that, they were trying to console, but nothing worked. So then Krishna took all the Pandavas to Bhishma. At that time, Bhishma was lying on this bed of arrows in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Krishna's intention in taking all these Pandavas in a royal attire in front of Bhishma was, he just wanted to give pleasure to Bhishma. Bhishma only has seen all the troubles of Pandavas. Aho kashtam aho anyayam yadyuyam dharmanandana. So there are so many troubles in the lives of the Pandavas, and Bhishma has personally witnessed them. But in this last stages of life, let Bhishma have the opportunity to see the Pandavas in a royal attire, in a very happy demeanor. So Krishna wanted to give that satisfaction to Bhishma. Now Bhishma started speaking to the Pandavas, especially Yudhishthira Maharaj, trying to console him that whatever has happened not because of your greed for the kingdom. It happened for a purpose. And he starts giving different reasons. One of the reasons that he gives is time factor. How time is the controller of everything in this world. So let's recite this shloka. Sarvam kalakritam manye. Oh, sorry. I'll recite once, then you can open. Sarvam kalakritam manye bhavatam cha yadapriyam sapalo yadvashe loko vayo rivaghana vali. First line. Sarvam kalakritam manye.
Sarvam kalakritam manye. Sarvam kalakritam manye. Sarvam kalakritam manye. Sarvam kalakritam manye. Sarvam kalakritam manye. Sarvam kalakritam manye.
Enough.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hasini, second line. Bhavatam cha yadapriyam.
Bhavatam chayata priyam. Bhavatam chayata priyam. Bhavatam chayata priyam.
Okay.
Bhavatam.
Inha Segal Mataji. Sapalo yadvashe loko. Hare Krishna. Sapalo yadvashe loko. You have to unmute yourself. Vrindapriya Mataji, you can do. Sapalo yadvashe loko.
Sapalo yadvashe loko. Sapalo yadvashe loko. Sapalo yadvashe loko. Sapalo yadvashe loko. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dhanwad
Divi
pranam.
Krishna. Vayo rivaghana valihi. You have to unmute yourself.
Sarvam kalakritam manye bhavatam chayata priyam. Sapalo yadvashe loko vayo rivagana valihi. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Vaishnavi.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Full shloka.
Sarvam kalakrutam manye bhavatam chayat apriya sapalo yat veshaloko vayuriva ganavali.
Next. Chinmay.
सर्वं कालकृतं मन्ये भवतां च यदप्रियं सपालो यद्वशे लोको वायोरिव घनावलिः. हरे कृष्ण जी.
Hare Krishna. Yashoda. You can't unmute? Okay. Karthik, Kamakshi.
Yes, Prabhu, I can unmute.
Sarvam kalakritam manye bhavatam chayata priyam. Sapalo yadvashe loko vayo rivaganavali.
Sarvam kalakritam manye bhavatam chayata priyam sapalo yadvashe loko vayuriva ganavali. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sarvam kalakritam manye bhavatam chayada priyam sapalo yadvashe loko vayo rivaganavali.
Thank you. Now we'll discuss the meaning of the shloka. Sarvam kalakritam manye bhavatam cha yadapriyam. In this shloka, Bhishma is saying that Sarvam means everything. What is that everything? All the difficulties that the Pandavas faced so far. And also their regaining of kingdom. Earlier, they were in the forests. They were roaming in the forests without any shelter. But now they regained an opulent kingdom. So that is Krishna's grace, and this is also Krishna's grace. That is a result of time in one sense. This is also a result of time. Okay. Sarvam kalakritam manye. Everything that's happening in our life is done by kala. Kala means time factor. Kritam means kala is doing it. Sarvam kalakritam means everything that is happening in the lives of all people is being carried out by the inevitable time factor. Manye, I consider like this. My opinion is that everything is happening because of time. And he comes to the specific situation of the Pandavas. Bhavatam means your. Cha yad apriyam. Apriya means that which is very unpleasant, that which is not very pleasing, right? So bhavatam cha yad apriyam. Whatever difficulties you faced in your life is caused by the time factor, and the time is an incarnation of Krishna, is a form of Krishna. So here Bhishma says that you had to face the difficulties in Vanavas. You also had to be insulted. Your property was taken away. Your house was set on fire. You were poisoned. Janmashtami Purushada Darshanat Satat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichrata. So all this, your wife is insulted. You know why all these things have happened? Because of time factor. Okay, time has caused all this. So somebody may do some activities, and as a result of those activities, they will get some reactions, right? Actions are there and reactions to actions are there. So that is called karma. So karma is one cause of suffering. Okay. So, but Pandavas, they don't have karma, isn't it? They don't have karma. So then what is the cause of their difficulties? Kala. Okay. Time factor is the cause of difficulties. But in the later shlokas, he also establishes that Tasmadidam Daivatantram, even time is also not cause of difficulties. So whatever Bhishma is saying in this particular shloka is not literally applicable to Pandavas, but it is applicable to general people in this world. Okay. In the next shlokas, Bhishma confirms that whatever has happened in your life happened by the Lord's will. Tasmadidam Daivatantram. But at this moment, at this stage, Bhishma is making a generic statement that is applicable to everybody, which is time causes all transformations in this material world. So the whole material world came into existence, the entire universe came into existence because of time factor. And also, all the transformations within the universe are happening because of time factor. And Bhishma gives an example in the next two lines. Sapalo yadvashe loko vayo rivaghanavalihi. Loka means different planets. Okay. Sapalo means the rulers of those planets. All the planets and the rulers of planets are yadvashe, under the control of time. Yad means time here. Vashe means under the control of. All the planets and their controllers are influenced by time. Even Indra is influenced by time. Indra and all the Devatas take up some posts at one point, and after about 71 Divya Yugas, they have to give up their positions. Brahma becomes the creator of this universe, and after 100 years of his lifetime, Brahma has to give up this post. So by the passage of time, people may lose their positions, people may lose their possessions, people may lose their control, people lose everything by the passage of time, right? Sapalo yadvashe loko, whether it is in Brahmaloka or Indraloka or Bhuloka or Patal Loka, time influences everybody. Okay, at one point, somebody may attain success, at another point of time, one may attain failure. So everybody is controlled by time. All the planets are controlled by time. Because of movements of time, the planets are moving also, right? So sun is moving and all the planets are moving, and all the people within those planets are also getting influenced by time. And he gives a simple example. Vayo rivaghana valihi. Vayu means wind. Iva means like. Ghana means cloud. Avali means group. So Ghanavali means group of clouds are moved by Vayu, wind. So cloud has absolutely no independence to stay at one place in the sky. Cloud has to move according to the movements of the wind. Wind is blowing like this, cloud is just moving away. Have you noticed it? Clouds are moving in the sky because of the movements of the wind. So just like winds cause the movement of clouds in the sky, similarly, the time factor causes several movements in the lives of people. So we are all influenced by time. When a person is born, he was very small. The child, infant baby is very small, hardly few kilos. You can just hold him in the lap. Grown-up person, right? Say 20, 30-year-old person, can you hold that person in the lap? Okay, when you're in your hands, nobody can. Because by the passage of time, his body grew. He's very strong now, very stout, very big. Okay. But the same person who is very strong in his youth, when he becomes old, he cannot even keep his back straight. He has to walk like this. There are wrinkles on the face. There are white hairs. Our hairs may just completely fall off also. And people will become extremely powerless, strengthless, very weak, emaciated. Their skin is hanging. There are so many wrinkles on the face. So all this is because of time factor. A 5-year-old child has certain strength levels. 25-year-old man has certain strength levels. 70, 80-year-old person, very weak. So, and at the beginning stages of life, there is innocence. At the last stages of life, there's a lot of experience. Okay. So, and in youthhood, there is a lot of adventurous spirit. Like that, according to the passage of time, one's physical strength, one's sensual strength, everything will keep changing. Sometimes it is increasing, sometimes it is decreasing. And also because of movements of time, one's mind also gets affected. Okay. Now, because of the passage of time, there are seasons. Now it is summer. After some time, we get monsoon. After some time, we get winter. Okay. So the climate also has an effect on the person, right? The climate influences a person. It's very hot outside. You're sweating. You're unable to focus on what you're doing, right? We are all controlled by time in various ways. Nobody is out of the control of time. Therefore, Bhishma is saying that Sarvam kalakritam manye bhavatam cha yadapriyam sapalo yadvashe loko vayoriva ghanavalihi. Sarvam kalakritam manye. Everything is done according to the influence of time. Bhavatam cha yadapriyam. All the difficulties or unpleasant circumstances you have faced in your life are because of the time factor, and time influences, controls all the planets and their rulers. Sapalo yadvashe loko. How? Vayoriva ghanavali. Just like the movement of wind controls the movement of clouds in the sky. Similarly, the movements of the time control the activities of people in this world. Can anyone say the meaning of this shloka once in short? If you say the meaning, then we'll explain more. Yes, Hari. Yes, Karthik.
Sarvam kala kritam manye. That, sir, Prabhuji, that according to Bhishma Dev, everything and everyone is under the control of time. Bhavatam cha yadapriyam. And then referring to the Pandavas, he is saying that all these unwanted circumstances have occurred due to time. And then Sapalo yadvashe loko, even the great rulers of great planets are under the control of time. And Vayo Diva Ghanavali, just like the clouds are under the control of the wind.
Excellent. Very good. Line by line meaning. So now let's go a little deep into this concept. So time influences everybody. But can time influence Krishna? Can time influence Radharani? Can time influence any spiritual things? Krishna takes birth apparently in this material world. He's unborn, but still he takes birth in Kamsa's prison cell as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, and he goes to Vrindavan. So in 3 years, 4 months, Krishna completes his Balya Leela and he appears like a 5-year-old child. His bodily growth is like that of a 5-year-old boy when he's 3 years, 4 months old. When he's 6 years, 8 months old, he looks like a 10-year-old boy. When he's 10 years old, he looks like a 15-year-old boy. So generally, like the movements of the time influence the bodily growth, physical growth, and intellectual growth of kids in a certain way. But Krishna grows faster. And after he attains 16, he doesn't grow only. He is always 16 years old. Whether he is 70 years old or 80 years old or 100 years old or 120 years old, he looks like a 16-year-old young boy. Okay. Time doesn't influence Krishna. Time doesn't influence Radharani. Time doesn't influence any of the forms, eternal forms of Krishna and his personal associates. Okay. And time also doesn't influence knowledge about Krishna. By the passage of time, the knowledge about Krishna and some spiritual truths may be covered, may become inaccessible to people, but the knowledge is eternal. It may be covered to the vision of Kali Yuga people or ignorant people, but that does not mean there is a change in the knowledge of Krishna. For example, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke 5,000 years back. Still it is fresh. It is not outdated. Time influences the news of this material world. You got a question, not question paper, newspaper. Okay, you got a newspaper and you are trying to read the newspaper today. Tomorrow, the news becomes irrelevant. If not tomorrow, after a week, it becomes irrelevant. Have you ever seen anybody reading a newspaper which is last month's newspaper very intensely? Okay, what is the latest news? He's searching for news of April 22nd. not May 22nd, April 22nd. Okay, 1 month back. So nobody will read like that. But 5,000 years back, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, you are still reading that. 5,000 years back, Sukadeva Goswami spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, we are still reading it. We are discussing from Bhagavatam only now. Okay. So the passage of time did not influence or did not diminish the potency of these great divine scriptures like Gita and Bhagavatam, isn't it? So Krishna is not influenced by time factor, and Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and all the scriptures and the leelas of Krishna are not influenced by time factor. So Krishna was 5,000 years back, Krishna acted like a small child. Now he's grown up man. Okay, he's 5,000 years old. No, we can't calculate the age of Krishna, and Krishna is eternally of that Kaishvara age. But Krishna also eternally performs his childhood leelas like killing Putana, killing Sakatasur, lifting Govardhan mountain, subduing Kaliya, stealing butter. All these leelas also are unaffected by time. In this one universe, Krishna enacted. Okay, Krishna enacted these leelas 5,000 years back. After that, he would enact the leelas in another universe. So Krishna's stealing of butter is an eternal leela, uninfluenced by time. Oh, as a child, Krishna stole butter, and now he's not stealing butter. No, he's stealing butter now also. Krishna is stealing butter now also in some universe. We don't know which universe it is. Okay. So all the leelas of Krishna are nitya leelas. They're eternal pastimes. Krishna's body is eternal. It is not subjected to time or deterioration. Krishna doesn't grow white hairs. Krishna's skin will not show any wrinkles. So Krishna is always youthful. So Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all the scriptures that are spoken by Krishna or spoken about Krishna, they are also youthful. They are not influenced by time. Okay, even after 10,000 years or 10 million years, you will find somebody studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, and also the glory of Dham may be covered, the divinity of holy Dhams like Jagannath Puri or Vrindavan or Mayapur. Apparently, to the vision of people, their divinity is not very much visible to the material vision of people. But those who are spiritually tuned in to that frequency, spiritual frequency, they will naturally find the potency of Dham. They will experience a transforming potency of Dham even with the passage of time. It's not that Dhams have so much potency 5,000 years back or 10,000 years back or in the previous Yuga. Now Dhams have lost their potency. You can't say that. You go to Vrindavan today also, you may find open, thick Suez canals. There are some pigs who are just moving in that canals. But fine. Dham is Dham. Okay, Dham's potency is not influenced by time. The potency is accessible. The purifying potency of a holy place is accessible to the degree we have good consciousness. Right? So, anything material is influenced by time factor, and anything spiritual is not influenced by time factor. The power of holy name, will it fade? Now, in Kali Yuga, holy name is very powerful. In Satyuga, holy name will lose its power. You can chant Hare Krishna in Satyuga also and go back to Godhead. Okay, so we discussed this elaborately in our recent Ekadashi Japa talk. Okay, how holy name of Krishna is potential in all yugas, not just in Kali Yuga. But there is extra emphasis given to chanting the holy names in Kali Yuga, because Kali Yuga people are so unqualified in 100 different ways, either from the perspective of their physical strength or mental strength or intellectual strength or lifespan. They are very low compared to the people of previous yugas. So they cannot do anything like meditation or yajna or deity worship like previous yuga people did. Okay. So the easiest thing for Kali Yuga person to attain Krishna is to chant the holy names of Krishna. Right. But holy name of Krishna is always potent. Its potency will not change. Now you have battery. Okay. You have, okay, in this remote there is a battery, right? So the potency of the battery will reduce by the passage of time. Okay, as time is progressing, so you'll have to change your batteries. You have to throw these batteries and you have to get a new battery. Okay, but the potency of holy name will never reduce, right? You don't have to holy name will not lose its potency with the passage of time. Coming to devotees. By the passage of time, Materialistic people will become old, will die, but devotee, there is no death, in one sense, right? So from a higher, broader sense, devotees also, they also become old, they also have some wrinkles on the face and all. That's only bodily transformation. So there is a beautiful shloka in this regard that explains this concept nicely. Ayur harati vaipumsam udyannastam chayannasau tasyarte yat kshanonita uttama shloka vartaya. Ayur harati vaipumsam. As sun is rising and setting every day, he is stealing the lifespan of a average living being. By every rising and setting of the sun, one day in the life of an average person is getting reduced. He is coming one day closer to death. But tasyarte yat kshanonita uttama shloka vartaya. But this is not the case for devotees. By the rising and setting of sun, devotees are not coming one day closer to death, they are coming one day closer to Krishna. Okay, they are becoming more and more advanced in spiritual life. Why? Because they are constantly absorbing themselves in Harikatha, they are discussing Harikatha, they don't even die. Why? Yamaraj, he is supposed to take them to, he is the Lord of Death, he is supposed to take them to hell. He is also sitting in Bhagavatam class and hearing along with them, right? When we are hearing Bhagavatam class, Yamaraj is also sitting with us. How can he take anyone to hell? Okay. So devotees who are hearing Harikatha will not go to hell. Okay. 100% sure. So in this way, we see that apparently even a devotee's body also gets transformed. He may get some diseases, his body is becoming old, he's getting white hairs, he's getting wrinkles on the face. Time is influencing a devotee, apparently. But at heart, on a spiritual plane, something else is happening. Time is not influencing the devotee's heart. Devotees are becoming more and more closer to Krishna by doing their Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. So it's just a matter of time, quote unquote time, before they finish their tenure within this material body and they will never have to enter another material body. They'll have to go to the spiritual world. Okay. So they will go to the spiritual world. But this is true only in the case of those people who constantly absorb themselves in hearing Harikatha and remembering Krishna, basically advanced in devotional service. Okay, for them, there is no rebirth. They are not caught up in the cycle of birth and death, while every other living being is caught like that. So time is very precious. As devotees, as sadhaka devotees, we are supposed to utilize time in a very, very productive manner, very beneficial manner. One of the qualities of a devotee is avyartha kalatvam. Devotees do not waste even a single moment. Time causes destruction of things, but time also causes creation of things. It is only by the passage of time that things are created. Creation existed. Creation came into existence. By the passage of time, the creation will be destroyed also. So we can utilize our time properly by doing service of Krishna, and we should not waste a single moment in unnecessary topics, because when time is spent, but time is not invested, there is a difference between investing and spending, right? Spending means you are exhausting your treasure. Investing means you are increasing your treasure. So invest the faculty of time you have. Every single living being is given 24 hours of time in a day. These are very precious. These moments are very precious. These 24 hours are very precious. So we are given this property of 24 hours. We need to invest this property of time, all the seconds and milliseconds and hours. We have to invest them, days and weeks. We have to invest in a productive activity. The most productive activity is spiritual activity. But whatever we need to do the needful on the material world to survive in this world, so we need to do that. But main point is we need to invest our time in things that are beneficial to us for our progressive well-being, especially on the spiritual plane. So when we utilize time in this way, then we can be very effective in our advancement in spiritual life and even in our material life also, right? So we have, in fact, for such a person who is judiciously using his time in spiritual activities, the so-called material activities he does also are spiritual activities only. because the person's devotee's entire existence is meant for pleasing Krishna, meant for self-realization, even the activities that he's doing for self-preservation also become a part of his activities of self-realization, because he has self-awareness. There are three things: self-realization, self-awareness, self-preservation. So we may have to do the needful for self-preservation to maintain our body and soul together in this world. That is self-preservation. But if we do those attempts of self-preservation with self-awareness, who are we? We are souls, we are children of God, we are parts and parcels of Krishna, we are amshas of Krishna. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. You know that, right? So when we are aware of our spiritual identity, and with that awareness of spiritual identity, we do our activities of self-preservation. So that self-preservation activities with self-awareness become a part of our activities for self-realization. Ultimately, the aim of human life is self-realization. And while living in this world, we have to attempt for self-preservation. And while doing our activities for self-preservation with self-awareness, we can attempt for self-realization. And all the activities of self-preservation also become a part of our activities for self-realization. Thus, we can bring our so-called material life and spiritual life together. Everything is spiritual only, okay, in that sense. So therefore, let us not waste time. Let us not waste a single moment. Of course, there should be some time allocated for some relaxation and recreation also. But that relaxation and recreation must be within the limits of, within the boundaries of ethics, morals, principles, values, and spiritual values, right? So when we keep our recreation efforts also within these limits, that recreation also becomes a part of our self-realization. So there were so many great devotees who also had some time for some kind of light-hearted conversations, some little fun, some recreation, some swimming, some walking, some jogging, some exercise, some outing, right? But all this is meant to maintain our body and mind in a proper way so that we can focus on spiritual activities. Therefore, we need to judiciously use time. If you lose time, if you don't use time, but if you lose time, you will not get it back. Even if you pay thousands of dollars, you cannot purchase even 1 minute or 1 second also that you have lost. And instead of regretting that, oh my God, I have wasted so much time. And the entire academic year I have wasted. Now it's exam time. What am I supposed to do? Okay. I don't have much time to prepare for the exam. You have wasted the entire semester, entire academic year, and there is only 2 days left in the exam. There's so much portion to study. So it's very difficult. So let us judiciously utilize our time for spiritual activities and even for our regular activities so that we don't lose this rare opportunity in human life. And time controls everything. And in the case of devotees, yes, time doesn't influence because they're absorbing themselves in spiritual activities. Ultimately, every single living being is eternal. Okay. Every single living being has no birth and has no death. There is no t equal to 0. There is no beginning time for the existence of any living being. Just like Krishna is eternal, we are also eternal. But when we enter a body, the body has a birth and death. And we have to utilize that body in that particular time between birth and death for something productive. Okay? Because once a person loses human body, we are not sure whether the person will get another human body, another human lifetime, with certain resources and privileges that he has in current life. So therefore, the time available in this human life is extremely precious. So we need to utilize it for self-realization. Okay. So there are many more perspectives that we can highlight about this time, but I'll just conclude here. It's beyond 8. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any more recitations? Anusha, you can recite. Sarvam kala kritam manye.
Sarvam kalam kritam manye.
You recite on your own.
Bhavantam cha yad apriyam salab.
Bhavatam cha yad apriyam.
Bhavatam cha yad apriyam.
Sapalo yadvashe loko.
Sapalo yadvashe loko.
Vayoriva ghanavalihi.
वायुरिव गणावलिः.
Okay. Yes, Haridev. Sarvam kalakritam manye
सर्वं कालकृतं मन्ये
bhavatam च यदप्रियम्
भवतां च यदप्रियं
sapalo yadvashe loko
सपालो यद्वसे लोको
vayor'iva ghanavalihi.
वायोरिव गणावली. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you. Next. You can recite it on me.
सर्वं कालकृतं मन्ये भवतां च यत् प्रियं सपादो यत्वशे लोको वायोरिव गणावलिः.
Next. Next, Mataji. In the second Mata. Sarvam kalakritam manye
सर्वं कालकृतं मन्ये
bhavatam च यत्
यदप्रियं सपालो यद्वसे लोको वायोरिव घनावली. हरे
Okay.
कृष्ण भगवती धन्यवाद.
And next, Sri Lakshmi Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु सर्वकालं कृतं मन्ये भवतां च यदप्रियं सफालो यद्वशे लोको वायुरिव घनावलिः.
Okay, next.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for wonderful explanation. Sarvam kalakritam manye bhavatam cha yada priyam tapalo yadvashe loko